Welcome to Old Man Sports Talk. I'm your host, Old Man Nate, and today, Old Man Nate is going to release his top 25 heading into week one. It's finally here, everybody. What we all been waiting for the last 8 months, 7 months, however long it's been. College football is finally here. I don't know if you got to watch any of the week zero games last week. I watched some. Um, I got just quick spill. I will say that my rankings last week's results were on two of those teams were a reflection of my rankings today, and just like every week, okay, my weeks every Wednesday at 2:45, my rankings are going to be released, and based on the previous week is what my ranking is going to be. So now, of course, this top 25, I believe 23 of these teams did not play last week. So, um, we're just going off of what we have right now, kind of what way I see things, how they are. I'm not necessarily going off what the media has. Okay, there's going to be some surprisers in here, and we'll see how it goes and how the season goes, and at the end of the day, we'll see how my rankings turn out to be. But at the same time, I'm not just automatically like the teams that I have making the playoff. I don't have them the top four, right? Still got to earn that right, and it'd be kind of stupid to have them 1 through 4 right now, and they haven't played a game yet. So, um, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. If you haven't already, though, please take the time to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. That way you get notified every time Old Man Nate drops a video or goes live. And also, you can go to oldmancoffee.shop so you can get some Old Man coffee. We have 47 different flavors to choose from. And you can also get you an Old Man t shirt. And we do have the Old Man Sports Talk tumblers there as well. So after the show, head on over to oldmancoffee.shop. Now, yeah, like I said, we released my top 25, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. I'm not going to go in depth on each one. I don't want to take too much on this. But every Wednesday, I will drop a new video with my new top 25. It'll be released at 2:45 p.m. every Wednesday. That's 2:45 p.m. Central Time. And then on Thursdays, starting next Thursday, I will be live and I will do a football show from 6 to 7:30 each yeah, 6 to 7 or 6:30, I'm sorry, 6:30 to 8 every Thursday. We'll talk football, we'll talk college football, we'll talk a little bit, what we've seen happen the week prior, and then some key matchups coming up in the week or the week, that coming week. So, anyways, um, let's go ahead and get started. At 25, this was a team that I talked about. It's an independent team that I talked about that I thought was going to have a pretty good season this year, and they might they were going to give LSU a good game. I said LSU would win the game, but I think there's going to be a 10-point or less game, and we're talking about Army. I think the Army is going to have a pretty decent season this year, win 9, maybe even 10 games. Number 24, we're going to the Big Ten, and I have the Iowa Hawkeyes. At 23, we're going to the SEC, and we're going to. I mean, this team right here, this is a make or break year for their coach. If if uh if they don't finish in the top 10 this season, he might be gone. And I know that's pretty harsh. When I'm not talking about Nick Saban, okay. So you might say, well, who we expect in the top 10? But he's had the number one recruiting class. He's had top 10 recruiting classes, top five recruiting classes, and he just hasn't got. I mean, he's losing 4 and 5 games every year. So, and I think if he's in the SEC, he could still be lose 3 games and be right on that, maybe possibly right on the edge of top 10. So I think he's going to have a little better season this year. And the person I'm talking about is Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M Aggies. So I got Texas A&M at 23. 22, we're going to the Pac-12. I've got Oregon State. I'm not sold on their quarterback. I don't remember his name, but I do remember he is from Clemson. He was a starter for Clemson. I really didn't care for him at Clemson last year. I'm not sold on them this year, but their defense is going to be pretty solid, and it's going to be enough to give teams, the offense can just be average. It's going to be enough to give teams problems in the Pac-12 because there is so many offensive heavily teams in the Pac-12. So a really good defense can stick out and surprise some teams. I got them at 22, and that's Oregon State Beavers. 21, we're going to the Big 12. Now, nobody's talking about this team, but as a matter of fact, I've replaced a couple of other Big 12 teams with this team. I've got this team picked to finish third in the conference, but a distant third. And I think their offense will be really good. They got one of the best. They got the best quarterback in the Big 12, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and I'm talking about the Kansas Jayhawks. At 20, I'm only putting this team here because everybody else has got them there. I don't think they're going to have as good a season they did last year, and we're going to find out week 1. They play, I believe, they play South Alabama, and that's the 2 best teams in that conference going at it. And I'm talking about the Tulane Green Wave. At 19, back to the SEC. This team, has the potential to be really good, but they just have never been able to break over the hump. And we're going to go at 19. We're going Ole Miss Rebels. At 18, I'm going to the Big Ten. I have this team winning the Big Ten championship, and they're talking about the Wisconsin Badgers. At 17, this team, a lot of people are really high on this team. I am not. I think that they're going to be about as well as they were last year. And, I think they'll have a better quarterback, but he's not going to be significantly better this year. Next year, I think is when he's going to be really good. And I'm talking about the Clemson Tigers. At 16, this team I actually have picked in the Final Four, but I am going to start them out at 16, and I think that they're going to surprise a lot of teams. Now, one thing they got going, they got an easy schedule, and I think it's going to benefit them a lot. I think they're going to be better than what people are predicting them to be. They've got an easy schedule, and they're probably not going to play somebody. They'll play one tough game, I think, probably 2, because the conference championship and one regular season game until they get to the playoffs. But by that time, they'll be seasonally molded. We'll really see how good they are, especially when they play the Big 12 championship again. And I'm talking about the Oklahoma Sooners. At 15, I've got this team playing in the ACC championship, but losing to Florida State. I think this team, I know everybody talks about Caleb Williams, but Drake may be the best quarterback in the country. And I think he's capable of pulling some upsets. And I'm talking about the North Carolina Tar Heels. At 14, I talked about earlier in the show that last week's performances did dictate on my rankings for a couple of teams. Well, here's the first one. And this team, I I didn't have them picked to win the Pac-12 championship, and I'm not changing it now. I'm not even picking them to play in the championship. I didn't pick before the season started in my show. I'm not picking now for them to play in the Pac-12 championship until they get, as long as they have Alex Grinch as their defensive coordinator, they're not going to win any championships, and that includes conference championships. They're going to the Big Ten next year, and they're going to get, I don't know exactly how that's going to be determined on their schedule or whatever. But if they've got to play Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State, those are losses. Those are losses as long as Alex Grinch is there. And I'm talking about the USC Trojans. At 13, this team I think is going to have a really good season. They're going to be competing for the Pac-12 title, but I got them on the outside of the game, on the championship game. But I think they're going to have a really good season, and they're going to impact a lot of, who it's going to have an impact on who is in the championship for sure. And I'm talking about the Oregon Ducks. At 12, we got another team from the Pac-12, and I've actually got this team winning their third straight Pac-12 championship, and that's the Utah Utes. At 11, I've actually got this team picked to win the national championship. I've got them picked to lose in the SEC championship. But I think that that's going to be their only loss the whole season. And I mean, they could lose to Alabama and still make the SEC championship. But I do have them losing Alabama in the SEC championship. I'm talking about I got them losing. They could lose Alabama in the regular season. Right now, I've got them winning in the regular season against Alabama, and then going on to win the national championship. And I'm talking about the Tennessee Volunteers. At 10, we got and listen. The reason I got this team ranked so low, I know everybody got them up higher, is because they haven't even announced who their starting quarterback is. Okay, and I know that it's Nick Saban. He's going to play some mind games. He may not even announce his starter going into week 2 against Texas either. Okay, he's probably not wanting to give any scouting information to Texas. I have a feeling this weekend there's going to be about 3 quarterbacks that are going to get about pretty close to equal playing time, and it's only to confuse Texas. Okay, so they don't scout exactly game plan wise on who's going to be the starting quarterback. But either way, it didn't matter who their starting quarterback was. They're not returning a starter. And my thing about these all season on my videos have been, if you don't have a returning quarterback, then you're not going to be at the top. And so at number 10, I've got the Alabama Crimson Tide. At number 9, speaking of Texas, Alabama's preparing for Texas. I've got the Texas Longhorns at number 9. They do have a returning quarterback, but the reason I actually have them in front of Alabama, because I'm already preparing for week 2, I think they beat Alabama. Okay, so that's why I've already got them ahead of Alabama, and that way it's not going to be, depending on what the score of the game is. If I'm right that Texas beats Alabama, it's not going to still be that much of a difference on who falls and who doesn't. At number 8, I've got this team playing in the Pac-12 championship, but losing to Utah, who I've already named. But I think that they're going to have a great season and only lose. They'll have one loss heading into the Pac-12 championship, and I believe that was to USC, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I'm talking about the Washington Huskies. At number 7, another one. The reason why this team is down so low for me right now is because they don't have a returning quarterback, and I'm just not sure. I don't know anything about their quarterbacks right now. So I just, they got everything else. They got the best receiving core in the country. Their defense, we'll see how good it's going to be. And they've always had a stable of running backs, but we'll see how good their defense is and how good their quarterback is. But I'm talking about the Ohio State Buckeyes at number 6. Now this is going to blow everybody's mind because I've got the back-to-back defending champions at number 6, the Georgia Bulldogs. And I've been saying, already said it 3 times, because they don't have a returning quarterback. We don't know how good their quarterback's going to be. They're going to probably try and run the ball for a while. But and they have a very weak schedule, a very weak schedule. If Florida turns out to be pretty good, that's the first good team they play. Then they'll play Tennessee, and that's it. And if they lose one or both of those games, they're probably not playing in the SEC championship this year, because like I said earlier, I got Tennessee, who's in the same division, and Florida's also in their same division, and I got Tennessee going undefeated. I said all the way up until the SEC championship. So, and I said even if they lose to Alabama, but they beat Georgia, that is the tiebreaker. Even if Georgia's only loss is Tennessee, if Tennessee's only loss is Alabama, Tennessee has a tiebreaker, and Tennessee will play in the SEC championship. So I'm picking Georgia Bulldog. I'm sorry, not picking. I got Georgia Bulldogs ranked at number 6 right now. Number 5. Here is my other one. I said last week's performances dictated on where they was ranked at, and Notre Dame looked really solid. I know they was playing Navy, but they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Their quarterback looked really well, and I mean, they looked like they was in mid-season form already, and that's what you're supposed to look like when you're a dominant team. They've got a really, really tough schedule. Let me look over here real quick to see who they play off the top of my head, so I can look real quick. So they got Duke, USC, Clemson. I think there's probably another team or two in there. All 3 of those are going to be tough games for them. So, yeah, they definitely got a difficult schedule, and I think if they can manage to lose just one of those, they'll have a chance for a playoff. But yeah, Notre Dame Fighting Irish at number 5. At number 4, I actually do have this team making the playoff, losing in the Big Ten championship, and everybody's saying, "Oh, they're still the 3rd best team in the Big Ten." I think this is their year. They're going to beat Ohio State and Michigan, and I had them going undefeated and losing to Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship. They very well could still win the Big Ten championship. I say the Big 12. I've got them losing to Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship, and I think that they could beat Wisconsin, but I think that you got to slip up somewhere. I don't think they'll slip up to Michigan. I don't think they'll slip up to Ohio State. So that was my pick that would make it be a slip up. But yeah, I got Penn State Nittany Lions at number 4. At number 3, I've got another SEC team. Now, I don't got them playing for the SEC championship, so they might be ranked a little bit high right now. We'll see. We're going to find out really quickly how good they are on week 1 when they take on Florida State. And I think it's at Florida State. It's either a neutral site or it's at Florida State. But anyways, the LSU Tigers I got at number 3, and who they're playing on that Sunday night, the Florida State Seminoles, is who I have at number 2. I think that Florida State, this is their year. I got them winning the ACC championship. I do got them losing 1 or 2 games. I think I got them losing 2 games. But I think that they're going to be good enough to get the SEC or ACC championship. I think they're good enough to win the ACC and just be on the outside of the playoffs. I remember when I did my show, I said it was between them and Utah because I have Utah winning, or I had them both winning conference championships. But I think the Pac-12 is going to be just a little bit tougher than the ACC this year. It's going to be really close though between them. And yeah, I got Florida State ranked at number 2. That leaves my number 1 ranking. They made the playoffs last 2 years, but they haven't quite got over that first game appearance. They've been eliminated both times in semifinals. And we're talking about the Michigan Wolverines. And we'll see how good they are going to be this year. They got the best running back in the country. They've got a returning quarterback. That's what helped them a lot, along with Florida State, LSU, Penn State. Notre Dame doesn't have a returning quarterback, but they got a transfer in. Like I said, he looked really good. And these rankings can change up, okay? When, if these quarterbacks that I'm saying I'm not just trusting yet turn out to be, way better than advertised, then these rankings can definitely change up. But right now, I'm going with what I do know, and that's the Michigan Wolverines have a returning quarterback. They have the best running back. They've got a solid defense and a solid offensive line. Receiving core, it's okay, but yeah, we'll see how it turns out. So there's Old Man Nate's top 25 for going into week 1. If you haven't already, please take the time to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. That way you get notified every time Old Man Nate drops a video or goes live. And also at this time, go to oldmancoffee.shop, get yourself some coffee or a t-shirt. Support Old Man Nate by getting you a t-shirt or getting you a tumbler. Again, every Wednesday at 2:45, my rankings will drop. You can check them out on the video, and then every Thursday, starting next Thursday, September, I believe it's the 7th, from 6:30 to 8, we will be live, and you guys can call in or jump on the chat, ask questions, and we are going to do nothing but talk football. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Keep checking it out. Leave some comments. Tell me what you think about my rankings. Tell me who you top 5 or top 10 are. I appreciate all your comments. Appreciate all your likes and subscribes. And we'll see you next week right here on Old Man Sports Talk.